Hi guys, long time no see. I know it's been a really long time since I've managed to make a video. We've been doing a lot of traveling lately. We've had a lot of birthdays and holidays and events, parties and so on. I just haven't had the time to sit down and do any podcasting. I was still getting used to my Invisalign retainers. I felt kind of self-conscious and silly when I talked, so I'm trying to get over that currently, but it's not really bothering me that much. So let's see, what have we done? We went to Cabo for Memorial Day, for US Memorial Day, and then we went to New Orleans a couple of weeks ago, and we went and saw Kesha and Macklemore when they came into town, into Dallas, and it was amazing. They were great. I spent like $100 on t-shirts because I had to have a t-shirt from both of them. One for basically every person I know. So they were amazing. If they're coming to your city, you should absolutely go see them. But none of that is knit related, and I'm sure nobody cares. So let's just skip straight into the knitting. So a couple of weeks ago, it was American Father's Day. I don't know if Mother's Day and Father's Day are the same in every country. I know Mother's Day is different between the US and the UK, but I don't know if it's different between the US, UK, and Canada, so on and so forth. But it was American Father's Day, and I didn't have these done in time for Father's Day, of course. But Alex's dad went to Texas A&M, and their colors are white and maroon. And I hadn't made him anything. I made a shawl. I gave my Impressionist shawl, actually, to my mother-in-law, which is why I didn't have any pictures of it, because I didn't think to take any before I gave it away. But yes, so his Father's Day was coming up, his birthday was coming up, all these millions of other things, and he's an architect, and he graduated from the University of A&M, and I haven't woven in the ends on this, because of course I haven't, but this is one of the pairs of socks, one of the socks that I made him. It's got this little Greek pattern, which I got out of my book Alter Knits. It's like a colorwork patterning book. This color right here is called Raspberries, and I picked it up from Chicken Coop Dye Works. She's actually a Texas dyer, so that was really exciting for me. She is the sweetest. You should go. She's got a bunch of like nerdy, spot on, like Marvel especially, colorways, and she is the sweetest. I met her at DFW Fiber Fest, and she actually sent me a couple of little mini skeins along with this, and I can't wait to use them. But it's so cute. But it is, the light is kind of blowing it out right now, but it is perfect. And then this is, yeah, I believe this color is just called Natural, and I think it's from, can't remember who makes this actually. I'll try to find it and put it in the description box, but it's on my little hedgehog sock blockers that I got from my husband for his socks. And my father-in-law actually has smaller feet than my husband, but I knitted them sort of smaller and then blocked them sort of wide because I was worried that at the top with this color work it would be too tight for him to get them on, and I still need to weave in the ends. But I think he'll like them. I hope he likes them. Then I made my coworker's cousin had a baby, her first baby, and so I sort of just put this little creature together. His name is Blueberry. He's a jellyfish. I made him these tiny little legs, and he's got the sparkly blue safety eyes. And I don't remember what a lot of yarns are. A lot of projects have been done for a while, and I just haven't had the chance to podcast or talk about them, and I haven't put them away, but I've forgotten what everything I used was. But yeah, he's just a little disc, a little stuffy that I made for my friend's baby, my friend's cousin's baby. So I thought he was the cutest. I've had like 3 people try to steal him since I finished him, so I just need to hand him off because everyone's getting handsy with Blueberry. I think that's mostly it. I did finish my roommate socks that I talked about in my last podcast, but I handed them off to him and he has been living in them, and so I figured I probably couldn't steal them off of his feet long enough to put them in the video. So they were a hit. They're very pretty, but yeah, I don't have an actual picture of them finished. So I guess that just takes me into my works in progress. I started this I foolishly believed that when we went to Cabo and stayed at a friend's house, we would have all the time in the world and I would get bored because there's really not much to do in Cabo. It's a lot of really little shops, a lot of beach, which obviously I don't go to the beach much. I just figured I'd be really bored. It's about a 3-hour flight from where I live in Texas. So I wanted to have something to work on, and so I downloaded the April Showers ebook from Hoki Locatelli, and I started working on the April shawl, and it's a work in progress. I'm not done with it. I'm about halfway done with the border stitches. But as you can see, it's really small. I was really worried whenever I was making it, and this yarn is not helping anything. The yarn is another one that I can't remember the name of. But the yarn isn't helping anything. It keeps rolling up on itself pretty intensely. But it's beautiful, and I thought this was just perfect for Cabo. And the border has these little points on it over here, and really this shawl is going to need a lot of blocking to get it to its full beauty and full glory, but it's very lovely. It's a super easy pattern. It's just like you just start here and you just make increases, and then as time goes you start making this little like zigzag pattern in the middle, and then you bind off, and then you start the border stitches, which is just, you know, increases and decreases until you get this basic pattern, and it's lovely. My one issue is that it's not that the pattern is difficult to read. I just feel like it has a couple of little errors here and there that you can really logic your way through if you've done a fair amount of knitting. But I think if I handed this to a beginner, they would be like, I don't know what to do with this. So it's definitely not a beginner pattern, which makes me feel all the more better that I can do it. But it is beautiful. It's just this really, I love this color. I'm gonna have to find out what I actually keep a list. I keep a list of all of the yarn that I own and like what I'm using on certain projects by name and company, weight, colors, X, Y, and Z. I have a bunch of different ways of describing things, so that when I go back, I finish a project and I'm like, oh, I love that. What was that again? I have it in a little database I created for myself. So I'll have to figure out what this yarn is and tell you guys. But it is just, I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's just beautiful. And it just screamed Cabo to me. This felt very oceany and lovely, beachy. I wish I could have finished it on the plane, but I just did not have the capacity. I spent literally almost no time knitting while we were in Cabo, and this is how much I have left to finish it. I spent no time knitting in Cabo. I knit on the plane, I knit a bit in the car on the way out because it's an hour from the airport where you land, and then I knit on the plane going back. Like when we were in Cabo, we were constantly doing stuff, and we were with Alex's family. I didn't have the time to just be sitting around and knitting. I wish I had. That would have been great. And I'm also, I don't know if I have showed this yet. It's been so long I honestly don't remember what I have and haven't talked about. So if I've already talked about something, bear with me. But I am working on my local yarn shop shawl. And this is just a Barocco Vintage Black. This is my color A, my solid color. It's eating the light because it's so dark, so pigmented. And then this is my color B, the Speckle Variegated. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's called Lavender by the Bay. It's stunning, funfetti, pastel rainbow goodness. I love it. It's so beautiful and so soft and easy to work with. And this is from Cat Sandwich Fibers, which, oh my gosh, I wish she had more distribution. I don't know if she sells in a shop somewhere that I can find her, but she is always sold out online. Always. So it was really exciting to be able to get something of hers. And this is what it looks like so far. So I think I was here-ish last time. That's what it looks like knit up. Hopefully y'all can see that. And then I added in the black. And at first I didn't think I liked it. I thought it was really just drowning out a lot of the bright colors. But then I got to the part where I striped in some of the speckle variegated. It's just beautiful. I just love it, especially against the black. It took me a while to come to the conclusion. There's my little llama, alpaca, I think it's a llama, stitch marker. But it took me a while to come to the conclusion that I liked these two colors together. And then once I got to striping them in, I was like, oh yes. I think I just finished the third, yeah, I think I just finished the third section. It calls for the stripes right here, and I'm about to start the fourth section. So this is section 1. The only problem is with black, you can't always tell the detail, but this is a lot of lace detail right there. So it's section 1, section 2, and then these stripes and lacing right here are section 3. And I'm about to get started on a pair of socks, but I have honestly nothing to show for it, so I don't see a reason to bore you guys with it. I do, however, have an embarrassing number of acquisitions since the last time. So the last time I was doing really well. I don't think I had too much that I had acquired recently. And then Drops had a sale, and I decided I needed everything. I got 68 balls of yarn. Here's one bag. So if you were annoyed because Nordic Mart sold out of all of their Drops yarn, that was me. I did that. I bought all of it. I didn't realize this, but this like really light pinkish purpley color, I got in 2 different weights, which is so funny because that's not a color I normally buy. Not only did I need it, I needed it in 2 different weights apparently. All of this yarn is also, I've got it set aside for projects. So this is going to be a sweater, and this is going to be a sweater that really, I never normally wear this color, but I just loved it. That'll be a sweater because God knows I have enough of it. I think this blue right here will be a sweater. And then I love telling the story. I saw this yarn, and I know this yarn is hideous, but I'm in love with it and I don't care. It's called Tex-Mex, and it is orange and maroon and brown and white. It is not high fashion or beautiful, but I am obsessed with this color, and I'm obsessed with the fact that it's called Tex-Mex. I think I actually bought every single ball that they had on Nordic Mart's website. And then I also bought it in that same Fable style in a blue, a black and a white, and a pink and yellow. They are supposed to be not self-striping, but like self-patterning. And I bought the no-show socks that the Stitchin' Sisters, or Cozy Up Knits, excuse me, mentioned. One of their sister-in-laws had made these like no-show socks, and I had to have them. I had to have that pattern. I had to make that yarn, or make that sock, because no-show socks are my favorite kind, but I haven't found a knitting pattern for them that I love, because I find a lot of the time that the binding around the foot just doesn't work for me because I have such wide feet. And I haven't yet figured out how to sort of hack the project or the pattern to fit my foot properly. So what I end up with is like it'll work great on the toe and like the heel, and then that part in the middle just sort of like hangs off the side of my foot, and then my shoe rubs really hard, and I do not like it. As if like spending all of that and buying all of that wasn't enough, having 68 new balls of yarn, I found a D-stash and decided that I needed like 5 skeins of yarn from that. I have never shopped a D-stash before, so this was very exciting for me. It felt like Christmas. I ordered it right before we went to New Orleans, and then when I came back, they were like in my mailbox, and my husband was sort of like, when did you have time to order yarn? I was like, I did it before we left, so whatever. he doesn't get to get mad. He got into tea while we were in New Orleans. Yes, the beverage, tea. We discovered this amazing place, by the way. It's called Mammoth in New Orleans. I don't remember what street it is off of, but it's Mammoth Coffee. And the guy that runs it is super into like tea and tea education. And he introduced us to the like pressed cakes of tea. And I am in love with it. It's so good. I've always loved tea. Alex, we used to, like, when we first started dating, some like side history for you guys. When we first started dating, my favorite thing to do whenever I wanted to spend more time with him, but I didn't want to tell him, I'd be like, oh yeah, I should come over and we'll talk over, so, you know, we'll have some tea together. We'll make a cup of tea. He never really drank tea, and I learned later it's because he doesn't really like tea, but he really liked hanging out with me, and I liked tea, so he made tea for us to drink, and then he would just sit there and talk to me. So it's really exciting for me that he's gotten super into tea, and he bought this amazing new, like, teapot. I don't know what you would call it. I'll have to do a video showing you guys all of what he's bought. And he has all these little tea cakes, and it's just like, it's like a constant thing. There's constantly hot, fresh tea in the house now, and this is my heaven. This is the best hobby / interest he has ever had. It makes me so happy. He's actually off playing D&D right now, so I can say that, because all his other hobbies are like that, basically. Which, don't get me wrong, I love a game of D&D, but it's not self-contained, and you need 6 other people to do it, and you don't get to eat it. So, it goes pretty low on my hobbies. But I did shop a D-stash because I found the yarn of yarns that I haven't been able to find anywhere because it's always sold out, and that would be junk yarn in the Eternal Sailor Moon colorway. I think we all know that I am obsessed with Sailor Moon. Mostly Sailor Jupiter, but the show Sailor Moon was my childhood. Like, if I could pick something and be like, yes, that is the thing that I will pass on to future generations, it would probably be Sailor Moon, because that is the, like, young Maya at her happiest memory, that right there. So I always freak out and get really excited when I find anything Sailor Moon. And when I found out that not only did Junk Yarn do a Sailor Moon yarn, but they do yarn based around women and strong women, I was like, yes, take my money right now. Just take it. Take my money. And I wanted all of their yarns, and the only one that they did not have was this one. And it was the one I wanted the most, of course. But it's just stunning. I hope you guys can see that. Pinks, purples, blue, a little bit of yellow, all on this like really dove light gray base. Sorry, I've been talking a lot. We did a cannonball run down to Austin and got beer from Jester King. I'm sure if you don't live in Texas that doesn't mean anything to you, but I'm exhausted. I spent 7 hours in a car yesterday, so I am worn out. She also had, and I don't know if this is actually a Sailor Moon reference, but I tell myself that it is. It's called Snitches, and it is Prism Power. I don't know if this is a self-striping sock yarn, but I'm telling myself that it is. I need to look up projects and like swatches of this being worked in, but 2 Sailor Moon yarns I could not have, obviously. The D-stash had this pineapple yarn called Anchors Up, and it is Sailor Jupiter colors to the extreme. It's pink and blue, cream, green, black, a little bit of yellow. It felt very Sailor Moon to me as well, and it just made me so happy. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get that. And these last 2 are kind of anomalies because I don't know what I'm gonna do with a single skein of either one of these. I'm not a Christmas person, just not. I think I spent too many years in retail. But then I saw this really pretty yarn from Lush Knit called 2,000 Miles on their smooth sock, 75/25. And I don't know what happened. I don't know what came over me, but I had to have it. It just made me think of like the peppermints, like the green and white peppermints and the red and white peppermints and the candy. Obviously it made me think of candy. I had to have it. It was so beautiful. It's even got a little bit of, oh, I think that's my hair. It's even got a little bit of blue. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's not like failing to focus or anything, but it was just so pretty. And I choose to believe that Tila has been a horrible influence on me, because she has. And so now I'm like, ooh, I can knit something or I can knit something Christmas-like. And you know, there's a Christmas in July cal, and I'm like, ooh, I could do that. I have Christmas yarn now. I can make a Christmas thing. And it's like, aside from a pair of Christmas socks with one skein of, you know, fingering weight yarn, I can't make anything. So maybe a fingering weight hat or something. I don't know. Actually, if y'all have Christmas ideas, share them with me, because as a non-believer in the holiday and the effort that goes into Christmas, it would be great to have something Christmassy in time for the holiday for myself. And then this last one I saw on just like completely off the cuff. I wasn't looking for it. I don't own a lot of purples really. I mean, like I own a lot of pinkish purple now because I bought it from Drops, but I don't own a lot of purple. It's just not one of my colors. It's not a color I gravitate to. It looks nice on me as a redhead, but I don't gravitate towards it. And then I saw this beautiful, just stunning DK weight, one skein of DK weight, not sure what I'm gonna do with that either, by is it Ileana or Lynai? L-Y-N-A-I. Please tell me how to say it. I will not, I always take criticism well. But it's called LSP, Lumpy Space Princess. And I love me some Adventure Time. Lumpy Space Princess, Marceline, Marshall Lee, Fiona and Cake. I love that show. I'm getting more and more into Steven Universe, but I'm just not ready to cry yet. So I've been like skipping the last 2 seasons basically. And it's got this beautiful little stitch marker that just comes with it. And it's just this great purple and blue and green, and it's so squishy and beautiful. It's 100% superwash merino. And so yeah, this is all my D-stash, and I just had to have them. I don't know what came over me, and it was a steal. Like, D-stashes are the way to go if you can find what you're looking for, because that is you are definitely going to get a deal on a lot of those yarns. A couple people are definitely upping the prices of like what they would sell normally. $20 skeins for $30, which is ridiculous. But you can find a lot of really great, beautiful yarns for pretty cheap. And then last, I went to the Purl and Ply event at McKinney Knittery. Go to the McKinney Knittery if you live in the DFW area. It is amazing. McKinney Knittery, West 7th Wool, and there's one more that I just love, but those two are probably my favorites. But there was a Purl and Ply event. They are from Abilene, Texas, I believe. And this color is called Make Me Blush. And it's kind of getting washed out. It doesn't look like anything too special. But I have been planning on making the 3-color Cashmere Cow by Joji Locatelli in Sailor Jupiter colors. And this is the pink that I have been looking for an age. It is the perfect Sailor Jupiter pink. And I had to have it. I told myself I wouldn't get anything. Got that skein of yarn because it was just so spot on. So perfect. I had to have it. It's for my project. I have a project in mind for like the first time ever. But I'm going to start sorting out all of this yarn by the projects I have in mind, hopefully. Printing out those projects, putting them in a bag, storing them until I can get to them. And going one by one. But yeah, that is it. I know it's been rushed. I'm sorry. It's so much information. My camera's about to die. But I really wanted to check in with you guys and let y'all know. It's super boring, just giving you facts and information. But yeah, that is it for me, and I will hopefully see you guys much sooner than a month and a half almost. So, bye!